What is going on, everyone? It is Rob and Jonny. Welcome to episode 22 of the MMArcade Podcast. Rob, what a day. What a day today has been.
What a day to be alive. Perfect for the fact that we pushed the episode to Wednesday and we cover UFC news.
Oh,
it's two massive pieces of news that came out literally in like the last few hours.
Yeah. If we had recorded the podcast on Monday, the episode would have been out of date straight away.
straight away. Everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely, dude. So we are absolutely going to be talking about Makhachev versus Volk 2. We're going to talk about what's happening with Paulo Costa against Chimaev. A few other things as well. New PS5 model announced. So if you are new to the podcast, please do subscribe. Really appreciate it. We're getting close to 14K subs on the channel, Rob. So we're getting there.
Mate, who would have thought? Because we got our heads together and just thought, I know I have some devout fans out there that are just keen to listen to me, spill the yarn. But mate, to have a podcast that we actually enjoy doing and to be able to run through UFC news, run through gaming news and what we've been up to, it's like we're just having a chat once a week.
Whenever we start these calls, we start chatting already, and then we're like, crap, we got to save this for the podcast.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. So let's get right into it, starting with the big UFC news. So I want to give you a breakdown of how this evolved throughout the day, because I was at work and I was seeing this kind of unfold, and I was messaging Rob throughout. So first of all, about a day ago, we had Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria. That was kind of confirmed, rumored to happen at UFC 297, right? So we all thought, all right, that's what's going to happen. And then maybe after that, we'd get Volk versus Makhachev 2. And then today, there was news coming out of the Overdogs podcast that Oliveira could actually be out of the fight because he got a cut over his eye during training. In the 5th round of sparring, his eyebrow split open. And it was pretty much like UFC scrambling to get a replacement fight. Then it came out that they're looking to make Makhachev versus Volk 2, and then they officially announced it. So that was the progression throughout the day. Wild news. Rob, what do you think? what do you think about all of this?
Mate, okay, firstly, it sucks for Oliveira. He looks so good in his last fight, and to have it happen right at the tippy end of the camp, like all the work is done, all the weight is more or less off.
Yeah,
he's ready. He was literally, I think, hours from boarding a plane to jump.
He was about to head to Abu Dhabi. Yeah, he was that close.
Like literally just there, and then to split his eye open like that. And understandably, he understands how hard this fight is going to be, and how much this shot means to him to go in there already with a massive cut on his eye. So he's doing the responsible thing. I'm sure he has gone out to many people and asked can I get it done? Will it heal in time? And I'm sure he made the smart move, him and his team. But I got to hand it to Alex Volkanovski, mate. Dude's always keen and ready to fight. He just, he's just always ready to have a dick. And he's been biting. He's been itching at the bit to get back at Makhachev. And now he's got his chance. In 12 days, like, you know what? It's hard to picture Volk not ready for this fight. I can just picture him in the gym with the Rocky theme song in the back, just training, knowing that something like this was going to happen. And again, he's been asking for this Makhachev fight for the longest time, and for it to happen this way, mate, he would have had to have been ready. He would have had to, otherwise he wouldn't have risked going in there half cooked. Not with how close he came the first time, and arguably, won. Do it.
Yeah, first I do think he won. Yeah, I'm definitely Team Volk for that argument. But do you think he's 100% ready? Do you think that's the same level of preparedness as it would have been if he had a full camp heading into Makhachev versus Volk 2? Because I know Volk is a gun. He's going to go on in there and he's going to be freaking awesome. But we're talking 12 days. Is there any kind of risk there? Honestly,
there's always risk with every fight, right?
Yeah,
there's only really two options. Either he was training ready, like thinking just in case someone falls through, you know? And I can't imagine Volk's the sort of guy to just not train until camps. Like, he's got a third lung. He's training his butt off, okay? And so there's that angle, which is not the same as a dedicated camp, but there's that. Or Volk is taking the fight because there's a lot of money to be made. He's a champion. Makhachev's a champion. I'm sure that means a split pay-per-view system. I'm sure he gets big money to turn up for the fight. I'm sure he's getting paid bigger money just because of the dynamic. And they want to keep the card, right? They want to keep that pay-per-view experience, you know. And Volk, honestly, 12-day Volk is more alluring in my eyes. You know
That's
what I mean?
Good point. Yeah.
But I'm almost more keen to buy the pay-per-view now than I was before, as much as I love Oliveira. But so there's that, which might not be, and Volk has nothing to lose. You know, if he goes in the mindset, he's got nothing to lose. His belt's in the division below. He's only got everything to gain. He's got a lot of money to be made. He could beat Makhachev. You know, he's got nothing to lose. And maybe he did say yes, undercooked, well, 12 days cooked. You know, you know what I mean? But that's dangerous in itself, because a Volk that goes out there knowing he's only had 12 days, but he's going to have a hard dig, which Alexander Volkanovski is known for. It might be more dangerous than Makhachev, because Makhachev knows he's got nothing to lose, this guy. Yeah.
I think you were definitely right. He was definitely training. If it wasn't for the Topuria fight, that was probably going to be announced after that, because he's like, that's just who he is. He would have been training, and I don't think if he had any like actual serious concerns or injuries or anything like that, he probably wouldn't take the fight if there was actually something serious going on. But the fact is, if he can turn around 12 days, ready with his weight and everything, then just got to assume that he is actually ready.
The style of fighter is as well, like that cardio-based grindy fighter. Yeah. They don't really have time off. You can't develop a cardio base like that in 8 weeks. You know, you need to be grinding like that with that fuel source like the entire time. You know, and for him, he's moving up, so obviously weight's not really a problem, especially because his last fight was at the weight division below. So I'm interested for this fight for sure, just to see how the dynamic between Makhachev and Volk changes from the first fight. All the things I listed just then for Volk are just power in his corner. So him going in maybe 12 days with nothing to lose, making a ton of money, last minute, late notice, nothing to lose, everything to gain. I think that sort of headspace gets him in there almost better than the first time they fought, because it frees him up. You know, he knows he's a ring in on 12 days. He's got nothing to lose, everything to gain. And he's just, I can see that being a bit of a problem for Makhachev, because I look at it and I wonder, what does Makhachev do from the first fight that to beat Volk? You know, again, to that, what can, because he did beat Volk the first time, what can Makhachev do differently so that it's not as close of a fight? You know, because, mate, like we said, arguably Volk won.
So how do you see it going then? Do you see it going much differently from the first? Because I we're going to have a very, very different Volk. Just from his aggression, his mentality, like he does not want to lose a second time, even though a lot of us, again, think that he didn't lose the first time. But like, this is his opportunity. He wouldn't be getting another opportunity probably ever again against Makhachev for the title. Yeah. This is it.
I can, obviously we're going to do next week. We're going to be doing a much bigger breakdown of this. And I'll break it down technically next week. But, an aggressive 12-day Volk, I can, moving up. Maybe he was doing heavier. Maybe he was doing a lot of weights already, trying to prepare for this fight. I don't know. Having lost the first one, but seeing that he can hurt Makhachev, maybe we see a Volk that gets in there looking for that finish. I can see Volk hurting Makhachev and and controlling the fight just by damage. Because let's be honest, Makhachev didn't take Volk to deep waters. He didn't. He had his back for an entire round at one point, but Volk was never in deep waters. And that's kind of where Makhachev needs the fight to go that's his whole stick, if you would. Yeah. So, Yeah, I can honestly see Volk finishing Makhachev.
Yeah. You know what I see as the ideal result here is that Volk wins, he becomes double champ, and then we get the third fight between them. I think that would just be freaking awesome. I know how disappointing it is for Oliveira. Like, we were all really looking forward to him being in there and potentially winning it back. But I would love to see the second and go to the trilogy, because those are always good. I'm looking forward to that.
Mate, I don't think, let's say hypothetically, Volk, I don't think Makhachev's done enough to get a trilogy fight.
You don't think? You don't think? Yeah.
Has he defended the belt? What, against Volk?
I'm pulling up his record. I mean, yeah, against Volk, but that's got to count for something, though, right? Like, you've got to run it back.
Yeah, but it's a guy in a lower division. I don't know. I don't know. There's too many.
I would say you're right. So, like, he obviously won the title against Oliveira, defended it against Volk, but I would say you would have to run it back for the third if the guy beat you, when defending the title. If it was just one other defense against someone else, then yeah, maybe not. Hasn't done enough to get the immediate rematch. But if it's against the same guy, I would say that's completely fair. And that's probably something that we would all want to see.
I think the style in which Volk wins would dictate that. Okay. If it was pretty handed, then maybe not. But honestly, Volk's got a big hurdle in Makhachev to get over anyway, because he did technically lose to him the first fight. And Makhachev's a weapon, dude. He's a weapon.
Of course. Yeah. Pray to the MMA gods. I do hope that Volk wins, but we will be doing the full breakdown, technical aspects and all, in next week's podcast. But Rob, we've got another big topic to talk about, and this has to do with your division. Let me
My
break
division
this
is just a
down.
mess.
I wasn't going to say it. Oh, bro, mess. Let's break it down. All right. So Costa, I think this came out a day ago or something. He had an infected bursa on his elbow, which required surgery 3 weeks ago. This didn't come out 3 weeks ago. This only came out recently. And then Costa said, I think this was a couple of days ago, a day or two ago, where he said he's never considered pulling out. He said, quote, "I can beat Chimaev 99 times out of 100, only if doctors don't allow me. I want that fight." And then Dana White, after he announced the whole Volk and Makhachev thing, was like, there is a chance that Costa could be removed from his fight with Chimaev at UFC 294. And the UFC, according to Ariel, I believe, has definitely reached out to potential replacements to take the fight, but it hasn't been determined yet. It could be a matter of hours. We could find out in the middle of recording this podcast. I'll be checking.
As you're uploading it, it'll come out.
Literally, bro. If the news does come out, we'll record it as a separate thing.
Yeah. So bursa, that's like floating bone fragments, right? I think.
Yeah. Right on his elbow.
Every fighter. Yeah. I think Jacob just had like 7 taken out of his elbow.
So for those of us that aren't like so knowledgeable about that kind of, surgery, would that actually keep him out of UFC 294? Are the chances likely?
Not if it wasn't infected, but if it was infected, like
it was infected apparently. Yeah, apparently
infections can kill you, and the surgery, like it's a proper surgery. You need rehab, you need to let it rest and stuff like that. Yeah, but according to him, he's never even considered it. Never even considered.
That's what he said.
Unless the white coat's saying, "Brother, you shouldn't fight." Yeah, that was a nice save there. You know what I mean?
It's clever. It's clever. Dude, he knows what he's doing, Rob.
Yeah, well, and because he's also got such a bad rep for pulling out of fights, like he just last minute, like a silly duffer. Mm-hmm. Can I say that? Is that sounds weird? You
can swear, by the way. Like a swear word here and there is fine.
I don't think I've ever said silly duffer before. First for everyone. But potentially he's out of that fight with Chimaev, which means UFC are now scrambling. Mate, 12 days. My coaching staff would never let me take a fight on 12 days, especially after what happened last fight and with how much next fight means to me, because I want it to be the turning point for my own legacy and for my own title run. So I'm sure they're not going to there's no way they would let me jeopardize that by taking a 12-day fight against Chimaev.
So if we are talking about opponents, it would have to be, in my eyes, I know that was just announced Cannonier against, what's his name again?
Dolidze,
Roman. But I would say it has to be Cannonier. I think he's the best. He's probably the best shout to save it.
Yeah, and Cannonier is keen to fight everyone, really. You see, he never really... Well, he's been ready since before the Strickland Adesanya fight because he was ringing for that. So I'm sure he's trying to get a fight in before the end. I remember speaking to him, and that's exactly what he said. He goes, he would have liked to fight before the end of the year. He's just looking for someone to fight. He's in a tough position. Like, the division's just funny at the moment. It's like guys are either tied up, or they're injured, or they've just lost, or they're waiting until next year, or they're already lined up. It's a funny place to be. I'm sure they could have enticed him with saying, like, you beat Chimaev, you get the next title shot, et cetera, et cetera. Just because, him coming in 12 days notice. Chimaev, obviously the hype he's got. Chimaev's a hard fight for anyone, right? But it's tricky. It's a tricky position. You don't know because we don't even know if Costa's actually out.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Do
you know who was tweeting a lot today? I noticed. It didn't say anything like on the nose, but Vittori was doing a lot of tweeting today. And I wonder, because when did he fight? In June? I wonder. I'm sure I saw something. I saw something on the feed saying that Vittori was offered the fight and declined it.
Really? Mate, again, how much can you read into that? Who knows where that guy got his source? I can't even remember that source. I heard he had been offered the fight and he couldn't do it for some or another reason. But let's be honest, like 12 days is stretching it. You want a top 5 guy in 12 days? Like either they were ready, or they don't care. But honestly, with the don't care attitude, you don't make it top 5. Yeah,
it's so hard because we were just talking about Volk being probably because it's Volk. Volk's a different animal. I don't know who in the right weight.
At this point, right now, maybe Volk fights Chimaev just before it. I don't, you know what I mean?
That's WWE style. Two in one night.
Everyone. Well, good on him. Good on him.
I don't know. It's a hard one. I think the UFC is in a bit of a pickle. Did they, I don't think they had a backup fighter or anything like that. You don't really do that.
They generally don't for non-title fights. So but that's like I said, you're going to be uploading in this. The news will come in, and then everyone will be like, "What do you mean?"
I'm literally checking right now because I want us to be on the pulse here, Rob. But I'm not seeing any at all.
Yeah, what do you do?
Khamzat is trending on Twitter right now. I don't know what that actually means.
That's because everyone's asking who he's fighting, right?
I think he just released a selfie today or something. Something stupid.
I smash everyone. Now you don't have to watch
it. You already know.
No, I like Khamzat, to be honest. I liked him much more when he wasn't a middleweight. Lurking in the top 10, potentially top 5 now. So now we got to put our friendship on hold, mate. It's on suspension.
If I was to say, it would probably be Cannonier. That's my bottom dollar bet. And then it's another fighter in for Dolidze.
Has to be.
That was the news today. Like there's a bunch of other stuff that was kind of announced as well, but as we said, very likely that we decided to record today. Do you want to quickly talk about anything else, Rob? Like we could talk about Bobby Green knocking out Grant Dawson. That was pretty sweet.
I will because it was. You know what? Because I'm happy for him. Guy's 37 years old. He talks a lot of he's got a very solid style about him. He's got a very strong. I don't even know how do I say personality. That's it. He's got a very strong personality, and he went into this fight. I think he was the underdog, if I'm not mistaken. He was the underdog.
Bobby Green was the underdog. Yeah.
Yeah, and the odds were against him. He wasn't expected to win like this, and he just went out there and cleaned Grant Dawson up with a cheeky left hand straight down the pipe and put him out within the first 30 seconds. You gotta be happy for the guy. You gotta be happy.
You have to be. And not even just like, oh, he was the underdog. Like, people were touting Dawson as potentially one of the next big things in the lightweight division. Yeah. Like that, a lot of the commentary I saw, I always do my research before every podcast. That was what a few people were saying. And then he gets knocked out by Bobby Green. I mean, what does that do for your career? It's a hard one.
I can't help but think that maybe the pressure, like there is a special sort of pressure when you're up against somebody, everyone expects you to smash. Like, it's weird. It's a weird dynamic to be in. I've been in it more times than I'd like, you know. Yeah. And my last fight was that position. Again, everyone thought I would smoke Dricus, and you know that's not how fighting works sometimes. And sometimes sometimes you just don't show up. But maybe the pressure got to him, maybe not. Bobby Green's an awkward guy. He punches awkwardly. If I'm going to say anything, Grant looked a little nervous. Maybe it seeped into him a little bit, throwing pretty wild hands. He absolutely did,
for sure.
Like throwing wild hands. And, you know, maybe I think Bobby Green was so much underrated in this fight or unappreciated in this fight because of the fight before it. He fought Ferguson before this, yeah? Mm-hmm. Was it Ferguson? I want to say it was. I want to say it was.
Yeah, but I think he beat Ferguson submission. Yeah,
yeah. I think that fight, again, he cleaned up Ferguson, but I think how awkward Ferguson is, and how honestly, even me watching it, I'm not like I like Ferguson, Tony Ferguson, as much as anybody else. When I was watching that fight, you kind of want him to win. You know, you kind of go on for Ferguson just because like he's an older dude, had a real bad streak, like. You kind of want to know, so you're always kind of already biased when you're watching that. And I think the fight was made awkward because of that. And I feel like it seeped into this fight. Granted, Grant Dawson was, you know, like a huge favorite. And honestly, his skill set leads him into those upper echelon of fighters. But again, like I said, it was like clean left down the pipe. Bobby Green had like an aura of confidence around him, and Grant Dawson looked really nervous. Mate, then 30 seconds, Bobby's your uncle.
Yeah, I really wonder what this does do for Grant Dawson. He's still ranked. He's 15th at the moment. We know how difficult the lightweight division is, full of killers. I would like to see him come back and be able to make a solid run because things were looking so promising with Dawson.
Oh, mate.
We'll see.
Oh, he definitely will. Definitely. They're just speed bumps. The game can be nasty sometimes.
It can be. So that's pretty much it, Rob, with the UFC. I say pretty much it. That was a whole bunch of news.
That's us. let me just say. So I read the comments last week. Okay, I read the comments. I actually replied to some of them. I read the comments last week. One guy was like, hey, Rob, when you announce news, happy for you to add a little bit of predictions, add a little bit of something, and I'll watch the prediction video as well anyway. Okay? That was for you, mate. That was for you. You better watch this episode. You better watch the prediction episode next. And also tell all your mates that I changed the entire podcast for you, okay? Appreciate that, buddy.
Honestly, like we are constantly reading our comments and thinking, should we do this, change that? Like we're still, we're only 22 episodes into a podcast. We're still finding our feet.
We are. That's why we change things a lot and we try different things out. We try to leave things in, take things out, and we're mucking around with this still. But we're slowly finding our groove. I even commented last week on my personal account on some of the comments just because I thought they were funny. I think. I can't even remember what I said. All right.
You can respond on the MMArcade account. You do have access. Or you just always logged into your personal one? Yeah,
normally because I'm just on my phone doing something, probably on the toilet, let's be honest. On my phone, I just go through them and it's like, and I see something funny and I'll just be like, ha, 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 ha.
Fair. That's pretty funny. But that is us for UFC news and breakdowns. Obviously, we'll be back next week to really break down UFC 294. But we're heading into games news. And you know what? It's been a decent week for games news and what's been happening in the video games industry. The biggest news by far came out today. Rob, there is a new PS5 model launching, and it does have people up in arms a little bit. So this has been leaked and rumored for a while, and it's going to be a smaller form factor PlayStation 5. There is a disc edition and a digital edition, and it is that rumored one where the disc drive is actually removable. It's detachable, so you can buy the digital one, and down the line, if you've got a few games on a disc, you can buy the whole separate drive and attach it. So it reduces the PS5 in volume by more than 30%, weight by more than 18%, and it's available this November. The prices are, and I've got the Australian prices, forgive anyone else around the world where you are, but PlayStation 5 with the blue disc drive is $800. Just the digital edition is $680. If you want the blue disc drive separately, that's $160 AUD. And this is what's got people a little bit upset. The vertical stand is separate. It is $50 separate AUD. I think it's like $30 in the US. So this has been PlayStation's very sneaky way of not just introducing a new console, but increasing prices on their console. What do you think, Rob, about the new PS5?
Mate, firstly, let me just start a fight with everyone that still buys discs, all right? You deserve to spend another extra $160 on top of it, because you guys are just trying to add it to your library, which is like 5 bookcases long, and it's one of the 7 billion game discs that you got, so you can show it to your friends. I got the original disc. Like, dude, just buy digital like everybody else, or just let's be honest. No, because there's like collection hunters now. If you're still buying discs, it's because you're like a collection hunter. It's part of your collection. You're going to have to spend more money for it. All right. So, so take that. Okay. But honestly, I don't know. I feel like it's in poor form, but. I don't know. It seems, for me, just at a glance, it looks very expensive.
It is very expensive.
$700
right
give
now,
or take for a PS5 is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and it's expensive because right now, cost of living's gone up, inflation, interest rates, everything is crazy. But I think the craziest thing is right now, or at least the last time I checked, you could buy a PlayStation 5 brand new on sale with the disc for 650 Australian dollars, and this one is $150 more when it eventually comes out. Is there
any more like software specs on it? I mean, not software, hardware specs. Like any increased anything else?
To be fair, sorry, I forgot to mention it does have a 1 terabyte SSD. I think instead of the 500 gigabyte on the current model now. So admittedly, that is
no more. That is well worth. That is well worth the increase in price.
For 500 gigs, Rob.
100%, mate. 100%. Have you not been in the position where you're trying to work out which one of your favorite games you're trying to delete to put in a new one? Like,
but SSDs are so cheap nowadays.
They're about $50, bro. Like,
like you could buy a decent one for cheaper than the upgrade, for sure.
Cheaper than $50? Are we comparing like buying a whole new PS5 for 500 gig? Or are we comparing paying the extra $50 against the original price?
It's hard because right now the main PS5 is on sale, right? I'm gonna look at JB Hi-Fi because I'm pretty sure right now. Okay, it's actually gone back up. So currently, this is so stupid. Oh my God, I don't get any of this. Currently, the main PS5 in Australia is $800, $799. And that base one has 825 gigabytes. So you're talking about smaller model and slightly more.
With more storage.
No, not cheaper. No, not cheaper. Like same price.
Because
and slightly more storage.
I'm looking at the digital edition because you guys that buy discs don't exist to me.
The pricing is so confusing, bro.
You know what's funny? Like, I'm pretty sure one of my mates, like my best friend, I'm pretty sure he still buys discs. He's like a Brit guy, only trades in cash. But
you know what? This is what I would say is the way to go. Okay, I would say the way to go right now is if you can find the original PlayStation 5, whether it's the disc edition or the digital edition, and you can find it on sale, buy it on sale and then get a SSD separately. But if they're not on sale anymore, what?
Then you don't have warranty
on the SSD. You can you can install an SSD and still have warranty. Yeah.
No, if you buy it secondhand, if you buy a PS5,
no. You can buy it because last week it was on sale, and they probably got wind of an announcement, right? So if they do a sale through like your retailer, I would say buy it now. But if not, don't buy one at full price now. Wait for the new edition.
Mate, like you know what's another thing about the discs? Like you have to install the 70 gigs that the disc has onto your device anyway. It's like the same thing. It's just to make people that have like a problem with buying discs. I still can't.
Not only that,
I still can't get over it.
Not only that, and to defend Rob here as well. Not only that, whenever you get a disc, you're not only just installing it, you're having to download a day one patch anyways. And then some games require you to download the whole thing again because they've stuffed up the process.
Constantly.
So constantly. It is too expensive. Like prices suck at the moment, not just for PlayStation, but like products and goods and everything across the board. I would say this is more for people that don't have a PS5. This is the way to go.
If you don't have a PS5, buy the digital edition. Yeah. You get a terabyte SSD, 700 give or take bucks. Bob's your uncle.
Yeah. And then like by the time it comes out, you're going to have Spider-Man 2 out, bunch of exclusive games. Like, PlayStation has been killing it, dude. They have so many good games.
Oh, the vertical stand, have a go at that. $50 for a vertical stand. Come on.
I know.
Come on,
that's why
mate.
People are up in arms. I agree.
I defended everything. I defended you against everything except the vertical stand. No, dude. Come on.
It's just, it doesn't make sense. It's just another way to make money. Okay, so someone tweeted this and I completely agree. Why are we making electronics that wobble in the first place? Why does it need a stand? Just make it a box like Xbox where you can put it on its side or vertical. Do you know what I mean?
Just make it square.
I hate every time I make minor adjustments to my PlayStation 5, I want to plug something in the back. The stupid stand always comes off and I have to readjust it and put it back on.
It's always like about that much of a spacing between the stand and my PS5.
It's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare.
It's silly.
It looks cool, but anyways, moving on. The next big piece of game news that we have is about apparently, Rob, Disney could be getting more into games. They've obviously been in games in the past, but Disney is being advised, like their CEO is being advised by internal staff, senior executives, to buy a game publisher like EA. So apparently Bob Iger is being pushed by internal staff to purchase an EA or a publisher of the like, but Bob is still considering it, not too sure. Rob, we've been seeing so much of this. We've seen, obviously, Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard. They acquired ZeniMax. Sony has acquired a bunch of devs in the past. But Disney acquiring EA would be absolutely huge, and it would mean like a big party is entering the games industry that's not Microsoft or Nintendo or PlayStation.
Yeah.
What do you think, man?
I think that is like the prelude to World War III. Disney versus Xbox, unreal. Like two big Goliaths in the gaming field, just trying to eat up everyone. There can only be one, though. You know,
this is literally going to be Battle of Two Towers, or the final Lord of the Rings.
It's going to be huge. You know, it's going to be huge. But I don't know. I think with the amount of licenses Disney have and the rights to everything they have, and they get like a dev company like EA behind them, I don't know. I would be interested. I would for sure play like a Tarzan game or something. Like obviously there were all the 90s games. Remember putting in the disc, PS1, you play like Tarzan, you just run through the story, or like Toy Story,
Lion King. So many.
Dude, if they did like solid remakes of those, I'd give them a go out of nostalgia's sake.
I think Disney I think the senior execs at Disney are realizing this. Like they have so many properties, and currently they're licensing them out everywhere. They've worked with EA with Star Wars in the past. They're obviously doing, Indiana Jones with Bethesda. Like this is not new to them, but I think they're realizing they could make such a big splash in gaming primarily because of how much IP they have. Everything Marvel, everything Star Wars, would just be a behemoth.
They got so much, bro.
So much, man.
Oh, mate. unreal. I hope they do. I hope they do.
Yeah,
just
I hope they do.
I'll benefit from it until I won't.
No, hold on, Rob. I know you. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, cool, Tarzan game. And you go back to playing Dead Cells or some friggin' game on your PC.
Stupid. Some like $2 indie game I picked up on the Steam sale.
We know you now. But I to be honest, like, yeah, we are seeing a huge consolidation of the games industry. But I'm glad, like, I don't want to see... Microsoft probably couldn't acquire EA because of anti-competitive laws. I don't want to see Nintendo, PlayStation, or Microsoft, like the typical three, acquiring another big publisher. I would prefer it to be someone from the outside so we have another big player in the industry. You know what I mean?
And let alone, would you want any other player than Disney entering the field? Like that.
It's a good point.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. It gets me excited. Like,
yeah.
They got so many cool universes and areas.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember the game Kingdom Hearts?
Of course. Of course.
Like, did you like it? Like, that for me was such a ride. It was such a fun game, and it was so trippy seeing like Goofy and Mickey, and then jumping into the Beauty and the Beast world, and then Tarzan world, and it was just so cool. So cool. Yeah. It's one of those games that you tell yourself, I'm going to play that again one day, and you never play it.
Right. No, you never play it. Our backlogs are too long. Like, let's be real. I think I'm going to replay games, and it's just never going to happen. But that's pretty much been the games news, Rob. And we're going to subtly move on to our what we've been watching, playing, and reading section.
Yep.
Rob, I know you've been training. It's been another tough week for you, but have you managed to watch anything or play anything?
Mate, honestly, I get these moments to play some games. Like, I've been wanting to jump into Baldur's Gate 3 again because I really want to make a Sorkitten. And I end up just laying on the couch because I'm just too tired. Like, I'm just tired, man. The days are long, and it's hard. It's hard to, like, because when I play games, this is also why I can't play games late into the night anymore, because I need to have energy. I want to enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, my best gaming day is Sundays. I wake up. Wife knows, kids know that from when I wake up on Sunday, I just have coffee and games until at least 10, 11 o'clock.
That's awesome.
Like, yeah, unless we have something on, there's events and things you have to do, but more or less that's my morning off, because nothing beats waking up, slapping on a game. You're full of energy, brimming with energy. Got a fresh brew there, beautiful Sunday morning, you know.
Yeah. It's even better when it's rainy. In my opinion, when it's rainy and cold outside, I love nothing more than just chilling in and playing some games, man. It is the best.
Yeah, but you see, then I got to play inside with my kids, and that's there's like not as many fun things, and then there's a mess, and then it's like it's better when you go outside, because then you can just take them for a ride, and you know the ride does it for you.
Yeah.
But,
good point. So you haven't been playing anything?
I haven't been playing anything. Reading, I did finish a book. Like, I started and finished it within like the same day, just because I was just laying on the couch chilling a lot of the time. And what was it? It was like I really liked the premise of it. I cannot remember what it was called, but it was like a guy that for some reason or another gets like time travels 10 years. You know, goes to sleep, wakes up 10 years later. All right. When in his time, when he was a guy, when he was doing his thing, he was a monster hunter. So like the things that go bump in the night, he used to go out and kill them, like vampires, werewolves, that sort of thing. And it was his godly mission to do so. You know, the gift. It was like a job from God, sort of thing. Wakes up 10 years later, where paranormal activity and werewolves and vampires have integrated into society, and they make half the population now. So like they're just walking around doing whatever the hell that is they do. But he has that mindset of like being in the Crusades, and the way it plays out in like today's day and age, and the way they portrayed it in the book was just this guy, he's just super racist. Dude, because he's just because he doesn't like vampires, he thinks they're a scourge to humanity, or like werewolves, like furry beasts, like, but that, like, because of the time difference and because they're like a part of society now, it's seen as wrong. So he's just like a super racist psychopath. And it's just
that is
funny.
not where I thought you were going with
It
that,
is
man.
just funny watching him trying to integrate back in with society. It's great. I cannot remember what the book was called. And I'm not going to.
Someone in the comments will know.
Yeah, they'll know it because there's like some raunchy bits in there too. So I'm sure someone's like, Rob's reading raunchy things. But yeah, no, it was. I just liked that perspective. It was a weird ride, you know. And
Fair.
and watching wise, mate, there is a new season of anime out. I haven't started yet. Like episode 1, I need at least 4 episodes before I start touching on those things. I'm actually looking for a new one, to be honest, because I've seen so many. I was going to give a recommendation, but the recommendation I want to give is like R-rated, and I don't know if I should.
I mean, did we talk about Goblin Slayer? Goblin Slayer is
That's
R-rated,
what I was
right?
just about to recommend. But now that you've said it, I'm
Well, there you go.
you. So, mate, if you are over the age of 18, okay, and you like dark anime, watch Goblin Slayer. It is so good. So good. Did you watch all of it?
No. It's just not for me, Rob. It's not for me.
How many episodes did you get in?
A couple. It's not for me.
No, it gets way better. Okay, the first couple episodes it's more or less either going to scare you off or you just fall deeper into the hole. Just go the whole way, Johnny. Go the whole way.
I don't know, man. I'll think about it. All right, I'll give another episode a go.
I'll sit on that.
But we'll
I'll
see.
sit on that. And that's me.
I will say, talking about new seasons, I haven't watched it yet, but apparently the first episode of The Kingdoms of Ruin is pretty good.
Kingdoms of Ruin.
Yeah, I saw this random clip of, I don't want to spoil it, but it looked pretty gruesome. So I'll be interested in watching the first episode of that. But in terms of me, I went back to playing Final Fantasy 16 on PlayStation 5. I haven't finished it yet. I got over halfway. And do you remember Lord of the Rings when Gandalf enters the cave? He's like, I have no memory of this place. It is so hard picking up a game that you haven't played in 2 months. Because I'm like,
especially if you power grinded it.
Yeah, because you're like, what the hell are the controls? What's happening in the story? So I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch a YouTube video of the story so far. And the guy's like, I'm going to spoil everything from the beginning. It's not going chronologically. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I will finish it eventually. But I was playing Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I 100% get you because there's a lot of times I load old saves on things and I have no idea what's going on, especially like the real in-depth, lots of mechanics, lots of item type games where you're like following like a specific build path or you're trying to open world games are notorious for that. But yeah.
At least I think, when it comes to like Fallout, and I'm sure you feel the same way with Skyrim, you can hop in and out of those games whenever because you know them so well. But when it's like Final Fantasy 16, which you've only played for like 15 or 20 hours, and that's all you've ever played of the game, and it's very story heavy too. So you come into this thing.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. It is like a cinematic experience. It's freaking awesome. But I was like, who's this character again? And why is he trying to kill this other dude? You know what? It's exactly as you said. I think like jumping into Skyrim or jumping into Oblivion is easier because of how open world it is. Like generally, like you're between things. You can do whatever you want. Whereas like those story driven games, you like if you leave for a few months in like a crucial moment, like a lot of times I'm looking at my party members like, who the hell are you? Like, who are you and why are you here? Like, it's almost like when you watch season 1 of an anime and then 2 years later they come out with season 2 and then you jump in the first episode of season 2 because you've seen season 1 and you're like, who are all these people? I don't know what's going on. True.
Like
that's why you didn't like Jujutsu Kaisen because who the hell are you?
I knew who the pale-eyed dude was, but who's the other like squinty-eyed fella? Like, who's he?
In the movie,
and why is he so strong?
Like,
you know what I mean? No clarification at all.
Yeah. But I was playing Final Fantasy 16. I also finished Assassin's Creed Mirage 2. I really liked Assassin's Creed Mirage. I know that it's not everyone's cup of tea. If you're a hardcore Assassin's Creed fan, I think you'll like it. But if you're not, then it's the same old classic Ubisoft style of game. So I think it's not for everyone, but I personally enjoyed it. And I had to get it finished because I was so close to the end. And I haven't been watching anything. I'm like you, Rob. I'm still trying to find the next big thing for me to jump into. Maybe it'll be Kingdoms of Ruin. Spy Family. Spy Family, got to finish that.
Spy
New
X
season's
Family.
out. It's so good, Rob. It is like, it's not my typical style of anime, but I watch it with my wife. It's great.
I could not get into it. I don't know. I think I dropped it after about 4 episodes. It's like, whatever.
Fair. I get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's the one anime that my wife and I can watch together. You know what I mean? She won't watch anything else. She loves Spy Family and that's it. So I'm happy to watch it.
You know what's a trippy anime? Have you ever seen, what's it called? It's the ice skating one. And I want to say, it's just like...
You've talked about this before.
I have. I mentioned how like confused it kept me the entire series until the end.
I'm trying to find it.
What's it called?
I'm just searching.
I want to say Glory's in there, but I think I'm just thinking Blades of Glory, but that's not it. That's just a movie.
I'm trying to help you here, but I don't know.
Oh, I cannot remember. Something on ice. Yuji on ice.
Yuri on ice.
Yuri on ice. There it is. There it is. Yeah, that it's pretty good, and it got me into ice skating. I started watching it. I think it was during the time of the Olympics, so I started watching ice skating on YouTube. But
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It just kept me confused the entire time. I didn't know whether the dude was gay or not, which is cool.
Yeah,
like if you are, but tell me. You know what I mean? Like, don't keep me guessing the entire episode, like the entire series. I don't know.
It's called plot development, character building.
Yeah, but I could have had those 11 episodes back. You know, just tell me what's going on.
Fair.
I think you know what? I think I was heaps sick as well during the period I watched it. So maybe it's not even that good. I don't even know. It wasn't bad, but I still listen. I still listen to the opening theme song today. So it's cool.
That's what we've been watching, playing, and reading. The final segment, of course, is the viewer questions. If you have any questions, please be sure to leave them in the comments below because we will try and get to as many of them as possible. Rob, I included this first one because I realized if you're not Aussie or Kiwi, you probably have no idea what the tattoos on your chest mean. So Logan Kofood 6815 asks, what is the meaning behind the stars tattoo on your chest, Rob?
Yeah. So on our flag, the Australian flag, we have the Southern Cross there. And that's what the stars are on my chest, Southern Cross. Bit of a, I don't know, some would say a bit of a bogan thing to do. Some would say a very patriotic thing to do. A little bit from column A, a little bit from column B, Rob. Yeah, I like, yeah, I can live with both of them. My father bought it for me because I wanted a tattoo when I was 18. And I wanted that. I grew up in the Southern Shire, so that's a bit of a branding you get there as well.
Yeah. But it's become iconic for you. But I was thinking about it when I read that question. I was like, I guarantee you, there's a bunch of Americans and possibly Europeans. Dude, they have no idea what the tattoo
reckon
means.
There's probably some Americans out there that got the tattoo in respect to me, and they're like, "What is it? I don't even know."
I would love to see that. I honestly would.
That's it.
The next question that we have is from Master Spencer 2483. I promised that I would answer this on the podcast. He asks, Johnny, what is the experience like of watching Rob fight, especially compared to any other fight, any other given fight which doesn't feature someone you're close friends with? It is the most stressful experience possible. It is. I get like. I get nervous and I'm like, oh crap, I don't know which way this is going to go because you don't want to see your mate lose. And if it's any other fight, I get excited like, oh, this is a sick fight. Nervous as anything. And I'm sure you feel the same way, Rob. Anyone in your camp or anyone that you know fighting?
It is terrible. It's such a weird sensation. Your palms get sweaty. It's yuck.
Yeah,
no good. You don't want to see your friends and family like get hurt.
No, get hurt and even lose as well. So it's pretty stressful. It's pretty stressful, but I'm still looking forward to the next time that he fights. Next question: Dunham is always asking the top quality questions, and Rob, I think you're going to like this.
Dunham.
If you were sent back through time, Dunham.
Let's go.
If you were sent back through time to the Stone Age, whose moveset from any fighting game would you take with you to beat up the cavemen and saber-toothed tigers? Great question.
Mate, love these questions. I love questions that make me think, because, do you want to go first?
I will go first. I reckon the correct answer.
When he says moveset, right, is it the way they fight or is it the power inherent with them as well?
I would say they're power moves. I think moveset includes all your power
so
moves.
We're just saying we're taking power, complete power. Are we
just complete? All special moves, or fighting style.
Are we using parody characters?
Sure. If they feature in the fighting game, why not? Why do you say that?
Hey, because I just picked One Punch Man.
I knew you. I swear on my parents' live, I knew you were going to say One Punch Man.
Well,
because he's probably been in a fighting game. Yeah, you would 100%. Yeah. Okay. Can we take out One Punch Man because he's obviously overpowered?
Okay. So take him out. All right, you go first.
Take him out. All right. I would say a good pick. And you could go anyone. I think Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat would be good because you just freeze them.
Yuck. That is a terrible answer.
You just freeze them, and if it's Saber-Tooth Tiger, you've got dinner for 3 weeks.
Oh, I want to end the cast now just so I can see the comments start to fill up with how bad that answer was.
Because if this was real life, I'm telling you right now, cavemen and a Saber-Tooth Tiger, they wouldn't just break out of the ice instantly. They'd just be frozen. And then what are they going to do frozen? You smash them, they go into a million bits.
Dude.
That's it. That's the
all
answer.
you can do is walk around and snow cone people. That's all you can do.
If it works, it works.
Mate, like I would probably... It would have to be...
I'm going to criticize your choice now, no matter who you pick.
You know what? I'm going to go... It would have to be Broly. Just because I reckon he's cool.
Oh, that's a good answer.
You know,
yeah.
While you're going around snow coning people, I'm literally destroying planets.
Yeah, but that's your problem because Broly has no. You have to freaking have your power limiter on because you can't control yourself.
I don't need.
That's the problem with Broly.
It's me and cavemen and a saber-tooth tiger.
Yeah, but what happens when you kill your fellow caveman or everyone else on the planet? Because Broly can't. Did you not watch Dragon Ball? That's the whole problem with Broly. He can't be controlled.
Unless there's some hot cave girls, and then I guess I'd pick Vegeta because he's edgy.
Do you know what? That's so funny that you say that because that's literally one of the recent Dragon Ball movies is the new Broly finds this girl that he likes. And she helps him calm down. Yeah.
Well, there we go.
That's pretty much what
just
it
like
is.
the Hulk. You know?
Yeah, exactly like the Hulk. All right. Broly, I can accept
Everyone
that.
in the
love that you've gone for anime
all our listeners, comment down below how bad Johnny's answer was. Sub-Zero.
At least I went for you proper fighting game. Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter.
Yeah, it says game. I'm sorry. It says game.
Well, no, you're right. There's been a Dragon Ball Fighters and
but that's
Tenkaichi 2.
That's more from an anime. I thought I don't know. I got my wires crossed there. I want to change.
Okay, go on.
But let's continue, and we'll circle back.
Rob's going to give his answer. Yeah. The next question that we have is from Bruno Barbosa 4457. All of you have numbers in your username, and you're throwing me up. Next question is, what is the toughest boss you guys have ever faced in a game?
That's a good answer. That's a good question. That's
a good question.
Yeah, but you got to understand, my tough bosses are actually tough. You know what I mean?
You're going to pick a Dark Souls freaking boss.
What other game are you going to pick? Assassin's Creed Mirage?
No, final boss battle was terrible. Very easy.
You go first.
So I'm not going to pick one from a Souls game. You're going to cover it, all right? You're going to cover a Souls game.
I'll cover
Souls. Sure. The first one that comes to my mind, because it's effectively a raid boss. Did you ever play Borderlands?
No, I feel like I did the first one.
So there was, I think it was Borderlands 2 from memory. There was a raid boss that was called Chromarax. And you had to have, unless you had the super spec build and you were following a YouTuber's guide, and during that stage, I didn't really do that, neither did my friends. It was so hard to kill that dude. And it was just myself and a friend trying to take down Chromarax to get the rare loot. That was hard because it's just a bullet sponge and he kept wrecking us. And there's probably harder bosses, but that's just the one that first comes to my mind because I remember constantly dying to Chromarax.
Okay.
So that's what I'll say. It's a fun, different answer.
This is... Okay, the boss that I'll give was the first boss that actually made me quit playing a game for a little while. I walked away. I walked away for months and then came back to it, I don't know, a year later or something like that. It was the Nameless King in Dark Souls 3.
Mm-hmm.
That was an absolute nightmare of a fight. I didn't go out grinding and just getting power levels or anything like that. So I didn't overpower my guy at all. Kind of just went with the game the way it was supposed. Just as a story, right? And my progression was pretty organic, I'll say. There's a better way of saying it. And, mate, the first time I fought him was a nightmare. Him and Sister Freya from the DLC of that game as well. They were both nightmarish fights. Sister Freya actually screwed my character up. I tried a new spec on it. I respec'd him so many times. And then the last spec was just a heavy dude, and she's all speed. And I just could not hit her. Could not hit her.
Who was the because I never actually got to this point in Elden Ring. Who was like the hardest boss fight in Elden Ring?
Melania.
Melania, that's the one.
Yeah, she was.
Blade of Mikula.
Honestly, I didn't find her too hard, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I didn't.
Well, now I'm seeing the dude that like just wears underwear that kills Marika in like 3 shots. Those videos are always crazy to me.
Yeah. And what always gets me through those sort of bosses? Like, I know there's some dude that's done a no-hit run from Dark Souls, from Demon Souls, literally all the way through to Elden Ring, like consecutively, one after the other. It's in wild. One life per se. That is next level, and that always kind of gets me through.
Yeah, fair. The last question that we have is from Lurk7411 asking, I'm wondering if you guys ever dreamed of being where you are now. Is this the life you envisioned when you were growing up? Bit of a big question for us.
It is.
Rob, did you always want to be a fighter?
Mate, definitely. There's no way I ever dreamed I would make it this far in any of my endeavors in life. Honestly, I thought I would, because I lived in Housing Commission in Menai, and I thought I would end up taking over the Housing Commission contract of my dad's place, and I would be on Centrelink. That's how narrow my field of view was back then. And you're like, and then I got an apprenticeship, and I was like, okay, I can get an apprenticeship and live in this house. And my dreams, my perspective just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and life's crazy. Life is a roller coaster. It is a wild ride. And things change so quickly, just
for sure.
Yeah, keep the doors open.
For me, I was always a nerd in high school, and I was studying. My goal was always to be a lawyer. I always wanted to be a lawyer. My cousin was a lawyer. Other cousin was studying to be law, and then I did the degree, and I worked in law for a bit and hated it. So I decided, and I always did YouTube on the side. So I decided to make social media my actual job. Never thought that, doing social media, doing YouTube, and obviously now podcast could actually be a viable thing for a career. But here we are. It's kind of crazy how the world works. You just don't know.
Especially in today's day and age, like where everything is so digital. Yeah. It's such a good space to be in, John.
Dude, even anyone that specifically, does video games and YouTube videos or streams like that, we didn't even think about that. Growing, it wasn't even a thing, and now you've got all these different career paths open to you. I wouldn't know if I was a teenager right now. I wouldn't know what I would do. I used
to remember when I used to have to buy those gamer books that had the guides in them, had the walkthroughs in them.
Yeah,
or the magazines, dude. I used to remember when I used to have those. I used to treasure them, like the map to Atlantis, bro. Like, yeah.
I tell you what, whenever you would walk into a news agency and you would find those magazines, I would actually ask, like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to work for one of those magazines and play games and write articles about video games? And this is like the new era of it. Doing a podcast talking about games and UFC.
All right, back to the Dunham question before we finish up.
Yeah, I'm waiting. What? Do you have an answer?
If I've got to pick one, I'm going to say, I don't know. It would probably be a moveset. Oh, man, this is too hard. From a game. A singular game.
Just pick it from, like, Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, Blaze Blue, like, you know what I mean? Tekken.
Fighting games?
Tekken's probably... Yeah, fighting games.
Oh. Yeah, but Tekken doesn't have any...
It has to be. That's what he said, right?
No, he just said... fighting game. He did say
fighting game world. Yeah, yeah. Oh. I would say Tekken is probably the...
Your answer makes so much more sense now. I retract my statement.
Thank you. I was like, I thought it was a good answer.
Everybody from the comments that is like mid-writing the comment right now, like mid sentence, lay off on Jonny. Like, I apologize. Fighting.
I tell you what, though, like there are way more powerful characters in like you look at Mortal Kombat, you could easily say, oh, it's the Dragon King Onaga or like the big boss dudes. I feel like there's a easy cop-out answers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could pick Shang Tsung and just steal the souls of all the animals and cavemen.
I'm going to be Shang Tsung.
Right? There you go.
Yeah. Soul Stealer. Yeah.
Soul Stealer.
I can live with that.
But there's a downside to that.
If I had to pick one, honestly, like just a fighting game on top of my head, probably Gookie. Oh, not Gookie.
That's a good answer.
Akuma. Like, I just think
Akuma is cool, dude.
I think he's just got like, I'm pretty sure there's like a demon living in him, and he's got such cool demonic powers.
The whole backstory is it was Goki and Akuma, brothers training under it was Goken and Akuma. I can't remember the name of the characters. They're training on the Satsui no Hado, and then he gets influenced by the evil side of it. He goes training for like years and turns into Akuma, and he's pretty much like, he's not the devil, but he gets consumed by that fighting style, and that's why he is the way that he is. It's very cool. I love the lore of Street Fighter. And then you have Ken and
the Demon Armageddon finisher. It's such a cool finisher.
You mean the one where he like slides and then it goes all white or black and then that one is cool. All right, I want to give a random recommendation. There is this genuinely cool live action Street Fighter movie. You're gonna have to find it. Street Fighter. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like genuinely well done. It's not like, I'm gonna leave it in the comments if I can find out what it is. This fan was just like creating this awesome backstory of Ryu and Ken and how Akuma became Akuma, and it actually looks like a solid movie. It shits on the Street Fighter official movie and everything like that. If I can find the name, I will find it for you, but you have to buy the Blu-ray somewhere. That is very, very cool. But I think that's it, Rob. That's pretty much it.
Episode 22 in the bank.
Hold up. Do you know what I am going to do to end this podcast? I'm going to see if Chimaev and Costa have been. It's not announced, but apparently Delize's shown interest.
Okay. Well, okay. Okay. All right.
This is going to be announced.
Yeah, it's going to as soon as we end this.
I see your photo coming out as well. Anyways, that is episode 22 of the MMArcade Podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for the big episode.